things you learned from Chelsea versus West Ham?
Man, kind of how I started last week with an honorable mention to Palace being a tough game and kind of prefacing all my points. I'd like to preface this with West Ham are very bad. I think there's more to take from them being bad than us being good. In my opinion, that was kind of a game where it didn't really look like we were out of first gear, 1 through 90, and we ended up 5-1. So, with that being said, um, my first thing that I learned, the back three progression is very heavily reliant on that central center back. Something that we learned from unfortunate injuries, along with our manager kind of preaching it. But Tosin just changes the way we play. I think Achampong was really good when he did, but it's not a position he's played often, and I think Tosin really showed the levels. I think he might be a victim of small club stigma, if you will, but I think he's top level. I really do. He might not be that A side who you build around, if you will, but I think he's more than just a squad player. He's really, in my opinion, going to prove his worth. We got to wrap him up in bubble wrap. He needs to be available in all of our games that are big. I also think Kukurea on the left-hand side of that back three helped with our progression. Having a left footer opens up a lot of those angles that Chalobah can't find. Hato came on later in the game, and again, it was 5-1 at that point, but showed it's going to take a little bit of time to adjust to the speed, and that's totally okay. He's understudy to the best left back in the league, so I think that's just fine. My second thing that I learned was we were a lot more fluid in build up in this game. Saw a lot of moments where Caicedo would drop into the back line, which allowed Cucurella to kind of drive forward into a lot of space, and that opened options up for him there. I think Enzo was a lot more involved with Caicedo in build-up, kind of drifting next to him, being able to play quick passes and get the ball moving. And then when we were further up the pitch, him and Estevao, Enzo and Estevao, as those eights kind of dropped wider to kind of find space and get us going. So I think that was another thing I was looking for after last week. And again, fair play to Palace and how they set up. They made it difficult for us to do, but I think we found a lot more success in kind of that interchange and interplay in that second phase. Third thing, I just wanted to give a shout out to Wesley Fofana for being back. Spent a lot of money on him a few years ago and really haven't seen much of him. When he has played, for the most part, he's looked very good, but just cannot stay fit. Really unlucky. And I think, again, in the 20 minutes or so that he was on the pitch, he actually showed some things. Wouldn't expect that in a 5-1, but there were a few chances, and he seemed to get across the back line really well. You saw him on the left side of the pitch really changing things defensively, getting in front of shots, so getting all the way across the back line. He looked fit, looked comfortable on the ball, so hopefully we can keep him fit. I think that'd be a huge boost for us to have a full year of him. Fourth thing we learned is that João Pedro and Liam Delap can coexist. Again, it was a West Ham team who really have looked bad. I predicted them to get relegated, but they've looked the part through 2 games. But I think João Pedro, a lot of the fan base was scared about him because we saw what happened with Nkunku and João Felix, sort of these positionless forwards. But to me, he's just so intelligent. One thing that I've noticed with him off the ball, he always seems to be making the right decisions. So I think in that 10 role, second striker, he looked really good. And then saw a lot from Delap. In terms of discourse, people weren't really impressed, or there was no GA next to his name. I really enjoyed his performance as an all-around 9. For that third goal we scored, his hold-up play, and again, just intelligence, movement on those set pieces, which we scored 3 of. He was a key part of that. I really liked what I saw from Delap. I thought he got taken off a little early, but again, it was 5-1, so is what it is on that front. But I really do like what I saw from the both of them in that game. So just another option to have depending on who the opponent is. And then the last thing, Estevao. 5 minutes before kickoff, Palmer's not going to play. Groin injury. Hope he's all right. But I mean, he just stepped right in and looked comfortable right away. And we saw 5 minutes in that flick in the middle of the pitch, loses the ball, turns into a goal. So I think those are the learning moments that you need. They're going to happen. I'd rather have it happen against West Ham and then we go on to score 5 than it happen against a team that we're competing with for league position or in the Champions League. So get it out of your system. But I think he did in this game. Always confident. He was sort of playing in that Palmer role that we always talk about wanting to see him in, the right winger with an overlapping fullback. So Gusto was essentially the winger on that side, allowed Estevao to move freely, and he sure did. Probably should have scored a goal later on a great ball from Reece James, but that assist he had, again, the interplay with the three of them, Gusto to Delap, Estevao, and then Enzo Fernandez arriving as he's learned to do so well. But I thought Estevao looked brilliant for his full debut, and I think it's going to be tough to keep him out of the lineup if he continues to get minutes and show what he's capable of. So a lot of positives, but Fulham next week, a much more capable team. So you're really going to have to apply it. You can't just kind of waltz in and think you're going to get another easy game. It's not happening.
Yeah, fair. Before we talk about West Ham, because they're shocking to a different degree than I think I was expecting, even though I think we all had them pretty low. Chelsea, you just ran them off the park. Look, there was a scare in the beginning there with the Paqueta goal. I will always be the first person to tell you I just don't rate Paqueta as highly as other people. And the game, while he scored a goal, the 2 ensuing goals after were both caused from Paqueta. So
the third one you can argue.
Yeah, so that's just his player type. West Ham are terrible, so I can't get on him too much.
Wan-Bissaka was actually probably responsible for those first 3. He had a rough game too. Back post, he just can't mark it.
Yeah, no, that's been something that he hasn't been able to do. But from a Chelsea perspective, this was the bounce back performance that you wanted to see from match week 1, and for all 3 of the midfielders to get a goal is pretty impressive. João Pedro is just such a Maverick style player. He's just, like you were kind of saying, he's always in the right spots, but I was impressed just how physically he was able to play within the trees.
He's physical.
Question.
Yeah.
And I think him playing alongside Delap kind of took him away